The EcoCha Tea Club offers singular batches of Taiwan tea, along with their stories about what makes them special. And batch 58 of the EcoCha Tea Club is a traditional Hong Shui Oolong tea made by our friend in Phoenix Village in Lugu. Our friend Mr. Chen is a professional tea judge at the Lugu Farmers Association for their Dongding Oolong tea competition. He's also our source of Shanlinshi High Mountain Oolong tea, and I spend a lot of time in his home factory watching him do his thing. And I've been after him this year particularly to see if we can procure a small batch of traditionally made oolong tea to share with the tea club. And I called him a few days before he decided to harvest this batch of tea, which comes from his family plot of tea right behind his house. Basically an heirloom strain of Qingxin Oolong. It's well over 30 years old, but he's maintained it well. It's still producing well. So he let his tea trees do their thing, basically, following the spring harvest in late April. And they grew about this much of new growth by the time late July came around when this tea was picked. And he had a team of pickers just pick the top growth off of that. But the way that the top growth, the nature of those leaves that are picked from the top growth after the new growth is allowed to develop that much, gives them a lot more substance and makes them a bit tougher than if the new growth was harvested directly after a pruning. They're much more tender and they grow faster, and they're just different. They're easier to process when it's new growth. Basically, the only thing that's useful to do with the new growth from a longer growth period is to make a traditionally made oolong. And that's why traditionally made oolong is what it is, because back in the day, before high production modern farming methods, people were just picking the new, the new growth off of leaves without doing a whole lot of intense pruning and trying to reap the highest volume from their plots of tea. So the Hong Shui, or traditionally made Hong Shui Oolong, comes from two main factors: how the leaves developed in their growing system, and then how they're processed, of course, which involves heavy oxidation, but done with finesse. These leaves were quite oxidized, very manipulated, shuffled a lot, tumbled a lot, and had a lot of redness to them before they went into the tumble dryers to cease oxidation. But we can see in the brewed tea that it's not anywhere near black tea. So it really holds its oolong character, so to speak. I went ahead and pre-brewed, and this is the 5th brew, and I have the 6th brew in the pot here because I wanted to get well into the brew to taste it now. And this has cooled down significantly. It's just a very complex, I got goosebumps on the first sip. It's complex, fruity, stone fruit kind of character. The other thing about this growing period or the season, he didn't use any pesticides on his plot of tea, so the leaves were bug bitten. The finished product is that it doesn't have a particularly honey character, but it has a bug-bitten character, which means that there's just a more complex, fruity character to the flavor of the brewed tea. So yeah, it comes down to that long growing period, the picking of the top part of the newest growth, but the leaves are significantly tougher, and then having to manipulate them a lot in order to make a good tasting tea in the end. And the amount of oxidation that the amount of manipulation, I should say, was beyond anything that we had seen prior, especially the very last step of still oxidation, which typically for high mountain oolong or even for Dongding oolong tea making is about 2 hours. You pile the leaves a little bit thicker on the trays and you let them sit, and they actually heat up due to the chemical transformations happening before they're exposed to high heat to cease the oxidation. These leaves in this batch of tea were allowed to sit for 5 hours. We'd never seen that before. Our friend also put a tray on top of them to contain the heat. So they really were cooking in there, literally, to an extent. When we took the lids off and put our hands in, it was quite warm inside the pile of the leaves, and the leaves were exuding moisture. They were literally sweating, and we hadn't seen that before either. I've been talking a long time. That's at least 2 minutes for the 6th brew. I did 9 grams of leaves in a 150 milliliter Gong Fu teapot here, and I'm brewing it. I started out less than 1 minute and then slowly increased the brewing times. These leaves pack a punch. They have a lot of substance to them. You can go lighter. You can go for a 1 to 12 or 1 to 13 leaf to water ratio, and then work your way up to 1 to 15 if you want. We think 1 to 15 would be more than enough. Beyond that, you're probably just wasting leaf. It's got a little bit of the kind of oolong to it, that traditional mainland China kind of character too, that stone fruit minerality character to it. It's just super satisfying. It's got fruitiness, it's got mineralness, and it's got a very clean finish that just kind of leaves a zing in your mouth, and heady, in kind of this heady bouquet in your nose. More fruity than floral for sure. One of the things that impresses us is how much oxidation has happened in these leaves, but it really emphasizes the difference between oolong tea processing and black tea processing. That the leaves were manipulated a lot, but they weren't torn, and they maintain a certain integrity in the leaf structure that keeps an element of freshness, no matter, or I should say, despite the fact that they've been manipulated heavily, there's still that kind of fresh zing oolong character to them. While we're talking, I'm just going to go one more. This water's a little bit cooled down, probably 90 degrees now. Definitely can handle boiling temperature water. We're very excited to offer this batch mainly because this level of traditional style is really hard to come by these days. Finding a batch of tea where the leaves had grown for 3 months and picking that growing tip and then working with them with a lifetime of experience is not easy to come by. Trust me, I roam these hills a lot and I'm always looking for this kind of thing. And I'm lucky if I can even taste this type of tea once a year from all the tea farmers I know, no less be able to procure enough to share with our tea club. So we're pretty stoked about that. Traditionally made Hong Shui Oolong from our friend Mr. Chen, who also supplies us with our Shanlinshi High Mountain Oolong tea, summer 2020. We do really feel that this is a unique batch of tea that we're able to share, and luckily it was just enough to share with our tea club members. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, click that like button, and definitely leave your comments about this tea, both here on our YouTube channel or on our blog post. We want to hear what you think about it. We want to hear your experiences of this batch of tea, particularly in all of our editions of the EcoChat Tea Club. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next month.